Hello! In this video, I'm going to explain the Events tab of your user interface, including how to create and manage your organization's events using our system. When we first click on the Events tab, we'll get a screen that looks like this. We can make a new event by clicking New Event right here. However, right now, I'm just going to edit my existing event so that we can go over all of the different available options. You can see that there are many different things that we can set up with regard to events. To start, you'll need to pick a name, start and end date for your event, as well as a registration start and end date. Next, over here, we'll need to specify whether or not we would like to allow one payee to register more than one attendees at a time. With regard to events, an attendee is the person who will be attending the event, whereas the payee is the person paying for the registration. If your event is one where people will be registering in groups, you would want to check this box. Now down here, if we would like to use the scholarships option, we would check this box. Scholarships allow you to set up discount codes for your event. We'll go over more about that in a minute. And down here, we can add an image for our event if we would like. And down here, if we had another theme that we had set up in theme settings for this event, we would pick it here. And down here, if we'd like, we can of course add a short description for our event. Once you've set up all this information here, you'll want to click Save to save your changes. Next, let's click on Event Location. Now here is where we'll enter the location of the event. We can add as much or as little information here as we'd like. Now if the location of your event happens to have a website you'd like to include, you would type it here under URL. And we can also add a phone number if we'd like, as well as upload an image for this location using the image uploader here. If you would like to add a description for this location, you would do so down here. And you can also include HTML code in this description field if you'd like, allowing for further customization. Now if we go over to Contacts, we can add contact information for potential registrants to call if they have any questions. To start, you would click New Contact, and then you would just enter the information in for the contact as well as set the contact type. If we'd like, we can also add an image file for a contact by using this image uploader. And if there's any further information that we would like to provide about this contact, we could do so under Description. Now if for whatever reason you would like to delete a contact, you would just click the X next to their name. And we can also add multiple new contacts by clicking New Contact up here. And of course we'll click Save as soon as we're done making changes here. Now under Resources, if there are any documents or materials that you would like to provide, you can upload them here by clicking on New Attachment. And all you would need to do is name the attachment, upload the file, and add a description if you'd like. You can always inactivate this attachment at any time by unchecking this Active box. Or of course you can delete them outright by clicking the red X located right here. And if we click on Links, we can add links to also be made available to registering participants. To do this, you would just click New Link and fill in all of the information. Now if we click on Questionnaire, we can actually add questions to ask registrants, but first let's take a look at the collected contact information section. Here is where we can customize what contact information we'd like to require registrants to input for our event. By default, first name and last name are always required fields. We can also use these drop-down menus to determine which additional registration information you would like to be displayed, as well as what is required to be filled out and what is optional. And down here is the question section. If you would like to ask registrants specific questions, we can input them here. To input a new question, you would just click on the New Question button. And you can see that we have a variety of different options here. Under Label, you can type a short version of the question. And here, under Question, we can add a more detailed version of the question if you need. If we had a lot of questions that we'd like to ask registrants, we can also organize them into groups. I'll go over the Manage Groups feature in just a moment. Here, we'll determine whether or not we want this question to be required for registration. Now, the target option is only available if Register Multiple is checked on the first page. If the Register Multiple option is not picked, then this option doesn't apply since multiple attendees cannot be registered under one payer. If a Register Multiple option is checked though, we can pick whether we want this question to be directed at the people attending or the person paying for the registration. Now under Type, we can pick what type of question this is. The text types in this dropdown will allow registrants to type in their own responses, and we can also preform responses and choose the checkbox or radio button format to offer specific choices. To add choices, you would just type your option in and then click Add Option for as many different options as you want. Now, as I mentioned before, if you have many different questions that you would like to ask your registrants or payers, you can organize them into groups. To manage your groups, you would just click on the Manage Group button. If you wanted to add a new group, you would just click New Group and type in the name. You could then use the drop-down under Group to determine which group this question falls in. Now, if we click on Policies, depending on the nature of your event, there may be specific policies and disclaimers you'd like to provide for your registrants. We can do that here by clicking on New Policy. And all we would need to do is label it and add the disclaimer wording under Description right here. If we click on Pricing over here, we can set up the different pricing and payment options we'd like to have for our event. Here we can add a single pricing option or numerous pricing options if we'd like. If there are any refund policies or a description you'd like to add for this particular pricing option, you can do that in the applicable boxes. Down here, if you would like to limit the number of registrations on this pricing type, you can do so. And if you would like to allow installment payment for your registrants, you would just check this box and fill in the information. If you would like to add a deadline for full payment for people who are using installments, you would just check this box and enter in the deadline. And if you would like to set a minimum payment, then you would do that here. Now, by default, attendees can choose their own installment payment frequency. However, if you would like to specify one, you can do it using this drop-down. And down here under pricing type, you'll see that we have a couple different options as to how we can price our event. Fixed pricing will allow for one price for all registrant. Tiered pricing will change the price based on the dates that your registrants are registering. Quantity discount will allow you to offer group discounts, and free, of course, will make your event free. You can add as many price tiers or quantity discounts as you would like by just clicking Add New Group. And then, of course, if you wanted to delete a quantity discount or a tiered pricing option, you would just click the X. Now, if we go over to scholarships, now if we would like to offer promotional or discount codes for our event, we can set that up here. To create a new promotional code, you would just click on the New Scholarship button. And here, you would just type in a name for your promotional code. You can also type in the code itself, or you can also have the system auto-generate one. Down here, under Type, we would set what type of discount we'd like to offer. Full will, of course, give people using this code a full discount. We can also pick a fixed amount or a percentage. And then here we'll determine whether one person can use this or multiple, and here we can determine whether or not this is active. Now if we click on custom tabs over here, if there's any other informational tabs you would like to have on your front page of your event, you can enter the information here. Up here you would just want to title your tab, and down here you would just type in the content that you wanted in that tab. Now if we click on notifications, here we can add people within your organization whom you'd like to have receive notifications for event registrations. We can add as many as we'd like, or we can also delete them by using the X. And now if we go back to our events home, There are a couple of other features I would like to go over. First off, you can see that all of the events we've created are displayed right here. The link for each event's registration page is listed here under Event Link. If you would like, you can click this View Link button to see how your event will look to registrants. Now, if you did have any custom tabs set up for this event, they would appear right here where the registrant could click on them and then read the information that you put in. And here, we can generate a QR code that will take smartphone and tablet users directly to the event registration page using a QR code reader. To inactivate an event, just move the slide bar here to inactive. If an event is inactive, it means that people cannot register for it. If we would like to remove an event from the system altogether, we would just click this Delete Event button. And if we would like to copy one of our existing events to a new URL, we would just do so by using Copy Event. This is helpful if you have annual events that are set up the same way. Now we also have a couple different reports that you can generate with regard to events. The attendee report will show you a list of all of the people who have registered for your event as attendees. The questionnaire report will download a list in CSV format that has all of the answers to registrants' questionnaire questions. And finally, the payee report will list out the names and payment information for all payees for your event. Hopefully, you now have an understanding of how our service can help you create and manage your organization's events. While I hope that I've covered everything you need to know in this video, if you have additional questions, you can always click the Support tab in your user interface to get a hold of us, or send an email to support@egsnetwork.com.